Yes, everybody. Russ, the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Graham Potter's just finished his press conference ahead of the game against Crystal Palace. So I thought we'd get into it. As always, we synopsise, we condense what's been said and give you our thoughts. So let's crack on and get going. First question, team news. Basically, Wan-Bissaka's out. He's still got a stomach issue, which was a reason why he pulled out the side on Saturday last week, having been named on the bench. I think he was already feeling it. He's put on the bench. 𝗨𝗓𝗕𝗜𝗓's deputised for him, and then couldn't make the final squad with Fabianski coming in off the bench. So we are, apart from that, really everyone else is fully fit. He says that Callum and Wilson and Nicholas Füllkrug both have had 4 weeks of training. So I would imagine one of them are back, would start, and we would revert back to type a little bit. Obviously, no Thomas Souček as well. He's been suspended obviously for the next 3 games following his red card, his straight red from the Spurs game. So that's where we are. Then asked about the situation, the current club situation, how that's all happening. Because every club, if you don't win as much as you'd like, there's always criticism and pressure, and that's fair. This was in reference to the article that was put out, the club statement last night. So that's the world we are in. Everyone wants West Ham to do well. We're all on the same page, and as to how much we want West Ham to do well, we all stick together. Not Al stick together, West Ham, because that's part of what is really special about this club. At the same time, when there's criticism, we have to listen and learn how to improve. And what was quite interesting, I thought, throughout this was very much someone put in the chat, it was a bit like a job interview, and it seemed like that. It's like West. It was talking about the club and how much he loves the club, and which it doesn't look great, passionate fans and all these lines, which I haven't heard from him before. Maybe carrying a bit of favour, trying to appease the fans ahead of the game Saturday and the start of the process. I don't know, but it was. It stood out when I was listening to him in terms of mentioning those things. Then he was asked about his role, how his role at the club is going. As you have to do lots of things, this job, build, develop, and you have to win. And we haven't done that as much as we'd like to. When you don't win, there's obviously pressure and negativity. At the end of the day, this is an important job. A fantastic football club, massive fan base. We're in the highest league in the world, and it's going to be hard, but we have to build, develop, and win. Although we have been in the top league for the longest period, it was that, which is one of the points made. Consecutive seasons in the top flight, I think, was a point made on that thing. Then he was asked about the home record. Now this is a real. I've put it all in there, but it's a long statement. It was talking about the home record and how it's poor, and he goes, well, at the moment, we've played 2 games at home against 2 top teams. He goes, and to be honest, there's a period of time, even before my time, when clearly the home form wasn't great. To change that dynamic, you need a bit of time. Asking for time, but I think it's more about how you analyse each game. Against Spurs, we played well in the first half, and supporters reacted to that, which they did. We then conceded, had a red card, conceded quickly, and the game went far away from us. Chelsea was a different story, but Saturday is a different game. We have to take our first half against Spurs into the Crystal Palace game. We need to see more. It's difficult to control games in the Premier League for the whole 90 minutes, but our challenge at home is to play better. There have been signs, but we have to be perfect to compete with these teams. When you don't, you're punished, and we have been affected too much by the goals we've conceded. I think that's a fair assessment. The fact is, he's saying, look, we weren't great at home. We haven't been great at home even before my time, which is fair enough. Under Lopetegui, we didn't play well in the last season. A bit under Moyes, we didn't play well at home, and the majority of our points are probably picked up from away games, in all honesty. But one of the clear factors this season compared to last season is just our inability to deal with corners and how they've been defended. And he was asked specifically about that. And he said it's something we need to improve on. There is no point denying it. We have to own it, and been working hard all week, because at the moment it's hurting us. Sometimes when things aren't going the way you want to go, everyone wants to pinpoint something specifically. But there are lots of little things we need to work on. The responsibility is mine, and I think we can improve, grow, and get better. And he was saying that we've been working on ways that we can defend corners better. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you, because then obviously that's a blueprint for Glasner to say, okay, we'll do the complete opposite then, and that type of thing. But it's clear that corners have been an issue this season, and I think my brother mentioned it, something that was quoted. Is it 1 every 5 corners that we've conceded in, or something ridiculous like that, which is absolutely ridiculous this season. Crystal Palace next. Asked about his thoughts about Palace. He goes, when you have those, obviously they've got the longest undefeated spell in the Premier League this so far, something like that. And in fact, we had Dan from 𝗪𝗡𝗕𝗓 a little bit earlier on a live, so go and check that out. Those results, clearly you're doing a lot right. They've done a fantastic job building that project. Lots of good players, you know what they're doing, and they're solid, but nobody's perfect. We have to focus on ourselves and how we attack and defend and how we can hurt them as well. Very good. And then it was a relatively short press conference. It started later as always. Then he was asked about the youth, and actually one of these journalists brought up one of the statements that was made in the club statement yesterday. I talked about integrating youth team players into the first team, that type of thing. And he's like, you know, the under-21s did a number on MK Dons. Freddie Potts played in that. We've seen Freddie pre-season. What's happening with Freddie? You know, what's his pathway looking like? And, you know, others as well. He goes, well, Freddie's had a really positive journey, the academy and his loans. This is his first season with the first team squad. He did well in pre-season. We know his qualities. He has to work hard and wait for his opportunities. And this is, if you look at my previous record, integration young players is something I'm good at. Again, a little bit like a job interview. You know, actually, if you see my CV, I did da-da-da-da. That's almost like how it sounded like today. At the same time, it's got to be the right time for the club, the team, and the individual, which I agree with. There's no point throwing kids in if, you know, I wouldn't want a 𝗪𝗡𝗕𝗓 situation by throwing a kid at the wrong time, or when Big Sam threw in all those kids against Nottingham Forest in the cup and they got trounced, and a lot of them, you know, left West Ham and their careers thumped because of that. He goes, you know, the Premier League's the highest level. We have a close relationship with the under-21s league coach Mark Robson, and we've moved Gerard Pentonville over because to help the under-21s, which he has. I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen him over there. But you have to work hard to grow at the same time, and there is a close relationship. And you know, people will criticise it, but I guarantee tomorrow the under-21s, we play obviously Rush Green, 7 o'clock kickoff, £5 for adults, £1 for children, free for season ticket holders. We play Birmingham City under-21s, and I imagine someone from Potter's staff, either Billy or even Potter himself, will be there in attendance, sitting about 4 rows in front of me, like they have been all season. And you should be going too. I'm talking to you. And if you can't come this week, next Friday, we play Brighton Hove Albion under-21s at Rush Green, 7 o'clock kickoff. And that was it. That was the press conference. Short and sweet. Main points. We know that Wan-Bissaka won't be playing. We know that probably Füllkrug will start, I'd imagine, if he's fully fit. And Freddie Potts just wait for his times to shine. And that's it. Simples. I'll be back later on Hammers Headlines with an exclusive about 𝗨𝗡 Bilic. Exclusive. And hopefully tonight we'll have Jordan Brown, former West Ham player, on doing a Miami's 11. Take care. Stay safe. Don't forget to like, comment, share, all that good shizzle. And I'll see you later. Much love. Peace out.